Changing Landscapes Bolivia is brought to you in part by Roadrunner Magazine and Outback Motor Tech.
Roadrunner is the most comprehensive resource for motorcycle touring and travel. Read, discover, ride.
Take a landscape artist from Canada, Dominik and Put him on a motorcycle. Well, try to put him on a motorcycle and send him to Bolivia for 6 weeks to paint some stunning scenery.
Hola.
Then take his buddy, Scott Wilson, a travel writer who never shuts up. Put him on another bike, and what do you get? Well, you get lost. You see, the GPS stopped working and the map wasn't worth a crap. Having said that, when they got lost well. They met some great people, ate some fantastic food, and saw what they came for. Changing landscapes. Follow along as Dominik and Scott rip through Bolivia, from the Altiplano to the Andes, from dubious river crossings to time out in the Amazon, from street carnivals to salt flats, and from a road of death to a mountain full of silver. Bolivia is a dream, an old-fashioned dream full of grinning characters, stodgy food, and where adventure is the norm. It's one of those places you'll want to go back to over and over and over again. Six weeks in Bolivia. And yes, believe it or not, they're still friends.
Alright, cheers.
This is Changing Landscapes Bolivia.
Hello, here's the Nomadic Bull.
And the Zen guy.
And welcome to Bolivia!
Our country.
Woo!
We're in Peru, Chile, finally Bolivia. This is our kind of a primary destination for the jumping point to Isla del Sol, which is over there. I don't know if we're gonna be able to take the motorbikes or not. We're gonna do some research about it tomorrow. If not, we're just gonna park lightly and take one of the boats that are parked over there. It's a kind of like a water taxi, drops people off and picks them later on. So I'm very much looking forward to painting in the Isla del Sol because it's a very unique and treasured place for the local population, and of course it was a very treasured and sacred spot for the Inca Empire before the Spaniards came in.
El pueblo es Chayapam. Entonces primero de acá se visita museo, y después compras el ticket.
Sí.
Y con ticket de acá caminando, llegar acá todo el tiempo.
Hola. Oh, it's beautiful. Hey, 10?
15.
15.
De piedra después.
Oh.
A 10 te voy a dar 10.
Yeah? Okay. After our little introduction to the island, we headed for Chincana, a set of Inca ruins at the north end of the island. Though the Inca were only around from the 1430s to the 1570s, they were prolific builders and Inca ruins dot the landscape. The Isla del Sol was proven to be a pleasant break. Though we wanted to take our bikes, it soon became evident why we couldn't. There were no roads. Because of its historical context, the Bolivian government doesn't allow vehicles on the island, and consequently, there are as many animals as people, especially donkeys, which are used to transport goods like water from the lake.
Oh, you want to eat my hand? Oh, that's a good boy. So, Dominik,
Are these your painting partners?
I think so. They're gonna be there for a while, so
They're attending class today?
they might.
All
I
right.
just have to watch for my brushes so they don't chew it. Well, every landscape you travel to, especially new one, has a new light for an artist. And here we are in Bolivia, close to 4,000 meters on the Lake Titicaca. Extremely beautiful blue, intense sky reflecting from very light rocks. So it takes a while to learn how to paint and find the language, technical language and a brushwork to find how to paint those rocks contrasting with the very big mass of a blue sky and sometimes big volumes of the white clouds.
So you like this spot?
Yeah, it's gorgeous. So many angles.
So many angles. So that's what you look for, is angles?
Angles, yeah.
Okay.
Angles, perspective. So what is it? It's called surface form relationship. It's you're looking for diagonals.
Okay.
That creates a very active dynamic composition instead of static.
So diagonals, and you're talking intersecting lines?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, you got lots of that here.
And also contrast, light and dark. Also complementary contrast too. But here we're doing more with dark and light. One painting here for sure, and then a painting of that pathway, doorway over there.
Okay, so we're heading out, so we gave you some...
My lips are like leather, I can barely speak.
Yeah, what's new?
Yeah.
So, anyways, we're taking the low trail. There's two trails. There's one that cuts across the spine, then there's one that cuts along the coast and then goes up. For us to take the upper trail would mean backtracking almost 3 kilometers before, so it would add a total of 6 kilometers to the trip, so we're not going to do that.
Plus I suffered a sunstroke yesterday, so going to try to keep a little bit lower altitude.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
All right.
As we hiked out of Chayapampa, it was hard not to get caught up in the past. Inca legend has it the creator god, Viracocha, rose from the waters of Lake Titicaca and summoned up the sun and the moon from this very island. To follow the same path that had been hiked for centuries by the Inca and the Tiwanaku people before us was a thought-provoking experience. The change of pace also helped, and without horns, diesel fumes, and never-ending roadworks, I could see why Isla del Sol was such a special place. Oh, we got another group of pigs closing in on you, Dominic.
You know what the energy of champions are? Healthy meal with vegetables.
Now, Snickers and chocolate chip cookies.
See, that's the difference between you and I. I have to give you some credit. I used to be like you before.
In what sense?
Lots of pizza. But then I met Mariko and things changed.
What do you mean before? Since we've been on this trip, man, every other night it's like, oh, I feel like some pizza.
Yeah, but it's a thin crust.
Here's your windows again. All right, here's day 2 of our hike. We stayed the night in Umani, and it's now 10 past 9 in the morning. We've hiked out about, I don't know, 1.5 days. And we're coming down to this structure here. Apparently one of the best preserved Inca 2-story structures left. So we're almost there. We got lost, we were up top, but we ran through some farmer's field and he got pissed off with us. No camino, no camino! So anyways, we're almost there, we're gonna check it out. This is the lady out here that sells the tickets, the BA, for the entrance to the ruins.
Wow, isn't this amazing? Just got here very early in the morning. What I love to seeing here is the continuity of the shape of trapezoid that actually you see in the modern structures. They're still using it, but here we are discovering that's where it originated from. The doors and the windows are all elongated trapezoid. So I think I definitely try to concentrate on capturing that type of characteristic in the painting here.
As Dominik painted outside, I had a good exploration of what was going on inside. And after further examination, I really had to admire the building techniques of the Inca. After all, these buildings were still standing after all these years.
This is one of the best preserved Inca structures around Lake Titicaca on Bolivia side. To really express the power, the grandeur and the mythology of the place, I chose to go really thick with paint to express really the true powerful essence. So here we have fat paint over lean paint, which means thick paint over very washy kind of watercolor effect, which creates a really nice textural effect. I'm very happy with this painting that I created on site here on the Isle of the Sol.
All right, we made it back from that temple, and we're just about to head down the Inca stairs.
The stairs, bloody stairs.
Bloody stairs. Yeah, let's go.
Famous Inca stairs.
What do you say, buddy?
Unbelievable. Look at that.
So in case you viewers hadn't noticed, Mr. Modlinski's grown his playoff beard. So, we originally put in over here, we hiked up here, came back, then we hiked around up, and then we're into here.
Expertly planned tours complete with maps, GPS files, and area information. Roadrunner is the most comprehensive resource for motorcycle touring and travel. Read, discover, ride.
All right, here we are. We just crossed over. We came from Copacabana. We hit the ferry, and we hit some pretty good rain, and we hit some hail, and we stopped at the shelter, and it's very nice. And Mr. Modlinski here has turned into the Michelin Man.
¿Y si
Yeah.
no me puedes regalar esa cámara?
Camera,
It's
Film.
as the video.
like television.
Yeah.
You now, movie star.
Quito.
Huh? All right, we're starting into the Andes. Dominik's whipped off ahead. I had to stop to get a couple pictures because this is incredible. I'm going to do a quick pan around for you. We ran through quite a bit of mist. Kind of nasty, but it's clearing up. Okay, we've just stopped in this little town. I'm not sure where. Any idea what it is?
It's muddy.
It's muddy. It's called Muddy in Bolivia somewhere. Anyways, we got some gas here, and not sure what kind of gas it is, but we're gonna do the deed. Okay, so we're in this little pension here, and there's Dominik, and we're heading over right here down this road. And then you can see it wraps around the far distance there, and then it comes up this other side here. And we're looking forward to some cool riding.
Oh yeah.
Dominik wanted to head up to a town called Curva. There was something in the guidebook that caught his interest, and we were going to explore. We took our time as he was still a bit under the weather from the dosing he'd received coming back from the Isla del Sol. So naturally, I was a little concerned.
Well, Romo is not feeling that good. I got a chill, so I'm a little bit running feverish, but it's all good.
Sounds like Charlie.
It's not I'm starting to whine. I said I'm not gonna whine. No, I'm not whining. I'm enjoying. I'm just stating the fact. You know, I'm under the weather.
I miss my wife.
No, well, yeah, I do. But, hey, don't get me going.
Hey, loco.
There are a lot of mountains in Bolivia, and a lot of villages in those mountains, and a lot of roads like these leading from village to village, like this one leading to the village of Curva.
Okay, we're at Curva.
Yes, we are.
Dominik doesn't like it.
No, I like it. It's just a flat line. I like the views halfway as we're coming from the town we're staying. I forgot the name of it. It starts with CH. But here we'll take some photographs of the.
We'd been on the road a couple weeks now, and I was really beginning to understand why Dominik does what he does. We all have a tendency to rush through our landscapes. Dominik's approach is to seek them out, stop, take them in, then paint them.
When you deal with any kind of landscape, the appreciation and concept of handling light is the most important part of the successful work. So here, it's a early afternoon, and I'm dealing with many layers. So I'm starting from light to dark, basically, and also from lean to thick paint. So I slowly build up the texture. So my paintings always have this kind of a sculptural quality about them, and they relate to what I see in front of me in the easel.
After each painting was finished, I watched Dominik perform his little ritual. He'd photo each one, take GPS coordinates of the location, and then he'd prepare the painting for travel with a little help from nature. Pebbles of all things. And once the painting was wrapped and stowed, it was off to find the next location. All paintings created during the filming of this series are available for purchase on Dominik's website at www.paintingjourneys.com. If you're enjoying the show and would like to contribute to future free programming, why not become a patron at patreon.com/Nomadic Bull. Thanks for watching. Back on the road, I guess I'd be remiss in not mentioning the condition of the roads in Bolivia. Before we left Canada, we were aware of the amount of dirt roads in the country, up to 80% by some estimates. But it wasn't just the dirt that posed problems. One thing is for sure, when riding in Bolivia, you have to have your wits about you. Buses, dogs, cows, llamas, water, dust, rickety bridges. Bolivia has it all, which makes for a great adventure.
It's awesome. That's exactly what I wanted to see out of the whole trip. That transition between the snow altiplano into this lush cloud forest as we are dropping to the lowlands of Amazon. Yeah, butterflies, birds, and stinking hot. I'm gonna take off some of my clothes.
Dominik would stop frequently to assess, and from each assessment he would decide to paint, to photo, or to simply move on to the next spot.
We are on the road to Apollo, another town in the jungle. And the vegetation is getting thicker and thicker, bigger trees, banana trees, and beautiful waterfalls. Yeah, they're coming down from both sides of the cliffs into the valley. Oh, it's just unbelievable. I'm speechless.
And before long, Dominik found another spot to paint. This time, it was just on the side of the road.
Well, as you can see here, the storm is coming quite fast. So here we have an exercise in a very intuitive, responsive painting. I'm not really thinking about it, I'm just painting because the storm is coming. But anyway, obviously here is the exercise in values from an aerial perspective. The very far background is receding as the clouds are covering the mountains, and the mountains, the objects closer to you are becoming darker and warmer. Hopefully I'll be able to finish that painting before we get covered in rain and thunderstorm.
He did finish his sketch on time, and yes, we avoided the storm. But not the night.
Alright, here's Nomadic Bolt.
And the Zenga.
We're heading out today on a road to God knows where, so we'll see you tonight.
Join us next time as we tackle the hardest days riding of the trip and make it to the town of Caranavi just in time to report live on the national elections. See you there.
Alright, here we go again with the bridges. Watch out for the dinosaur. Yeah. What do you think?
That's a small one. Looks in pristine condition. Another river crossing. Looks like this one is fully manual.
We're down at the beach. I'm not sure where. Once again, we're lost in Bolivia. We're going to a town called Miripiri, and we followed the road down. We came out onto this giant rock bar, and there's a river right in front of me here, and we're waiting for the little ferry. Alright, here's Scott Wilson and Dominik. We're reporting live from Bolivia for the presidential elections 2014. What are your thoughts there, Dominik?
Well, in about 20 minutes we'll know who's the next president of the country of Bolivia. People hope it's going to be another term for the first indigenous president, Evo Morales.
As one of the locals here said to us, it's a party. So you guys got to come down and check it out. This is live from, what's the town?
Caranavi, Bolivia.
Here.
And if you enjoyed this show, here's a trailer for our upcoming Vancouver Island series. Why is it that whenever we feel the need to go somewhere exotic, we get on a plane and leave? What's wrong with our own backyard? What's wrong with Vancouver Island? Well, as it turns out, nothing at all.
He wasn't for sure that it was in fact an island.
Vancouver Island is as exotic as it gets, but it's a different kind of exotic. It's not palm trees and margaritas. It's giant cedars and single malt. It's a pristine and wild exotic.
Fish Whisperer and Sardines, they're on camera.
Hi, my name is Scott Wilson, aka the Nomadic Bull. Join me and my good buddy, Dominik Madlinsky, the Zen guy, as we explore our island.
54 and 50.
We'll head up north and meet Joey and learn about Cole Harbor. We'll take in a potlatch in Alert Bay and we'll ride the rails in Port Alberni. And maybe we'll just have a tipple or two. We'll meet great locals, hear fascinating stories, ride through stunning scenery, and wallow in a beautiful wilderness setting. Vancouver Island is a gem, our gem, and it's time to share it. This is Changing Landscapes Vancouver Island.
So here's the Nomadic Bull and the Zen guy.
And the acting base commander for CMB Esquimalt today.
The museum is open to the public Monday through Friday, 10 till 3:30.
And admission is by donation, well worth it. Go and check it out.